4 men disappeared on the same day, same city, same rain, same Thursday afternoon. No bodies, no car, no trace. July 29th, 1965. Gothenburg, Sweden. Rain falls that day. Heavy, steady, relentless. 3 friends drove away in a midnight blue Volvo. A 4th vanished the same afternoon. And a bank robbery turned the city into chaos. Gay Roger Karlsson, 22 years old, born in Mölndal, raised on Hisingen Island, the eldest, tall, strong, worked as a paint worker, known for petty crimes, minor trouble, nothing serious, a bit gullible, people said, but loyal. He lived alone on Rissa Street, in the Anadol district. Got the apartment through social services. He'd been engaged to a woman named Yvonne, planning a future. Just weeks before, in mid-July, he'd been on a moped trip to Värmland with friends. They committed burglaries along the way. Police caught them. His friend was jailed. Gay wasn't. He returned to Gothenburg around July 16th. Free, but not innocent. Jan Olof Dahlsjö, 21 years old, the calm one, level-headed, lived on Haga East Street with his mother and 2 younger brothers. Smart dresser, brown suits, light blue socks, black shoes. He worked hard, kept his head down, best friends with Gay. They'd known each other for years, probably met in a local gang earlier. Inseparable, Kjell-Åke Johansson, just 16, the youngest, but he looked older, much older. People thought he was 20, a new father. His girlfriend had just given birth that summer. He didn't know yet. She'd never told him, barely more than a boy himself. He lived with his parents in the Bramar Gardens district. Left his work shoes in the hallway that morning. His mother found them later. Wondered why he'd go anywhere without them. He was punctual, always reliable, until he wasn't. None had a driver's license, but that wouldn't stop them. July 28th, Wednesday. Jan Olof Dahlsjö packed an extra pair of light trousers. Told his mother he was going camping and swimming with friends in Osa, a small coastal town south of Gothenburg. He left. Didn't come home that night, left his passport behind, left everything behind. The rain started before dawn, heavy clouds rolling in from the Atlantic. Gay Karlsson woke early, went to the Swedish employment office at Värmland Street in the Masthugget district. 6:30 a.m. He waited there until 8 a.m., then stepped outside to smoke with other men. A driver in a red truck offered him temporary work, cash under the table. The morning, maybe into the afternoon, Gay took it, worked a few hours, then disappeared. Kjell-Åke Johansson left his family's apartment that morning. His mother watched him go, noticed the work shoes abandoned in the hallway. Strange. He had about 100 krona with him, roughly $10 today. Good money for a 16-year-old. He told his mother the same story as Jan Olof, camping in Osa, swimming, friends. He didn't show up for work that day. His pay packet waited for him, uncollected, forever. At 2 a.m., early that morning, Jan Olof and Gay had visited a mutual friend in Olskroken, a suburb. They said goodbye, farewells, like they were going somewhere far. Café Marden, Landsväg Street, corner of Frigang Street, Haga district, just after noon, rain still falling. The 3 friends met there. 3 p.m. They stood, walked out of the cafe together. Outside, a midnight blue Volvo PV444 waited. Some called it Dove Blue, 1956 model, registration number 019920. Registered to Jan Olof Dahlsjö, or maybe his brother Bengt. records conflict. Gay Karlsson slid into the driver's seat. No license. Didn't care. Kjell-Åke climbed in. Jan took his place. The engine started. They drove off. That was 3 p.m. Thursday, July 29th, 1965. The last confirmed sighting of gay Roger Karlsson, Jan Olof Dahlsjö, and Kjell-Åke Johansson. They disappeared into the rain, into nothing. The same day, the same city, another disappearance. Hübner Lundqvist, 18 years old. Everyone called him Hymme, twin son of famous artists. Evert Lundqvist, the painter, and his wife Ebba, spent the summer with his parents in Torekov, a coastal village in Skåne. He'd read about the Gelsborg Art School, a community of artists in northern Bohuslän near Lysekil. He wanted to see it, wanted to be part of it. He left that afternoon, July 29th. Either hitchhiked or took a train. The route to Lysekil goes through Gothenburg. He had to pass through. He arrived sometime that day, went to Gothenburg Central Station, sent a postcard to his parents. "Don't worry," he wrote in Swedish. That was the last trace of Hübner Lundqvist. The postcard arrived. He didn't. Shortly after 2 p.m. Skandinaviska Bank, Gamlestaden district, eastern Gothenburg. 2 men burst through the doors, submachine guns, firing into the ceiling, screaming. One dressed as a woman, disguise, confusion. "Nobody move! Give us the money." A bank patron, a wrestler by trade, didn't freeze. He tackled one of the robbers. Hard, fast. They struggled. The gun went off. The robber shot himself in the leg. Blood everywhere. Panic. The robbers grabbed what they could. 18,000 kroner. They ran. Bank employees chased them. The robbers fired back, bullets spraying, people diving for cover. Then they reached the river, the Save River, and they did something no one expected. They tore off their clothes. Underneath, wetsuits, scuba gear. They'd planned this, planned it carefully. They jumped into the water, disappeared beneath the surface like frogmen, swimming toward the Göta River, where a boat waited. The media dubbed it the Frogman Robbery, one of the most spectacular heists in Swedish history. But the plan failed. Police were everywhere. Barriers, searches. Within days, all 3 were arrested. Hungarian refugees from the 1950s, Erik Nehiba, Istvan Pinter, Laszlo Nagy. What did this have to do with 4 missing men? At first, no one connected the cases. The men were reported missing at different times, different families, different police stations. Days, then weeks passed before anyone realized they disappeared together. And by then, the trail was ice cold. Divers searched the waters around Gothenburg. Criminal Inspector Ola Broström, who joined the police force in 1941, worked the case. Years later, in 1994, long retired, he said the Dahlsjö case was the strangest, most baffling mystery of his entire career. Days after Gay Karlsson disappeared, his sister Ramona went to his apartment on Risa Street. Maybe he'd come home. Maybe there'd be a clue. She knocked. The door opened. But it wasn't her brother. A stranger stood there, a knitted sweater. She'd made it herself, for Gay, her brother's sweater, on a stranger's back. "Where's my brother?" she demanded. The stranger's eyes darted. "The pub district. Look for him there." She ran, checked every bar, every pub, every place Gay might go. Nothing. When she returned to the apartment, the stranger was gone. Later, much later, in 2009, when new high-quality photographs of the missing men were produced, she became convinced. The stranger had been Kjell-Åke Johansson, one of the missing 3, alive, in Gay's apartment, wearing his clothes. And later that year, in 1965, the apartment was cleaned out, completely, by persons unknown, everything gone. The building itself was demolished in 1967, erased. Over the years, there were sightings. A blue Volvo in a forest clearing near Bracka, northern Sweden. A couple claimed they saw it, and the men. The car looked old, beaten, worn down. Police searched the area, found nothing. Others came later. A Swedish woman in Adelaide, Australia. A young man who looked like Hymme. Another sailor in Singapore. Same description, same age, none confirmed, none disproven. Hymme's parents believed he didn't die, believed he went to sea, merchant marine, high seas, freedom. They held on to that belief until they died. Evert in 1994, Ebba in 1998, never knowing. With no evidence and no witnesses, all that's left are theories. Theory 1, the robbery connection. Maybe Hymme wasn't separate at all. Maybe he was hitchhiking through Gothenburg that afternoon when a midnight blue Volvo pulled over. 3 young men inside, heading out of the city. He climbed in, a stroke of luck. Now there were 4. And maybe, driving through Gothenburg, they saw something. The robbers preparing near the river, wetsuits being loaded, guns, suspicious behavior. Maybe the Hungarian gang saw them watching. Witnesses are liabilities. 4 young men disappear. 4 problems solved. But the police discredited this. The robbers were caught quickly, interrogated thoroughly. They admitted everything about the heist. But 4 missing men? They knew nothing. Seemed genuinely confused. And why would they? The robbery already failed spectacularly. Adding 4 murders would make no sense. Theory 2, they were involved. Or maybe Hymme had nothing to do with the 3 friends at all. Just a coincidence. 2 separate disappearances on the same day. Maybe the 3 friends weren't witnesses. Maybe they were accomplices. It would explain why Gay and Jan Olof always had extra money. Why they drove off that afternoon with such purpose. Maybe the plan was simple. Help with the robbery, then escape. Flee Sweden entirely. New lives waiting, but the robbery failed. They panicked, ran anyway, took the money they'd already been given, disappeared into Europe. And Hymme, a completely separate story, just unlucky. Wrong day to hitchhike through Gothenburg. Maybe he got in a different car, with different people, and never made it to Lysekil. It's possible, but there's no evidence, no money trail, no confirmed sightings that held up under scrutiny. Theory 3, accident. The simplest explanation is often the right one. They drove south toward Osa like they'd planned. The rain was torrential, visibility near zero, roads slick with water. Maybe the car went off the road, into a river, into a ravine. The Volvo sank, all drowned. Jan Olof's mother Ingrid believed this until the day she died in 2012. An accident, tragic, simple, but searchers found nothing. Divers checked every body of water within 100 kilometers. Nothing. Famous Swedish criminologist Leif G.W. Persson examined the case on national television in 2018. He theorized about a single vehicle crash, a camping trip gone catastrophically wrong. Kjell-Åke's sister, Anna Christine, didn't believe it. Still doesn't. The weather was terrible. Why go camping in pouring rain? And the roads south in the 1960s weren't near deep water. If they'd crashed, someone would have found them. An accident would have been discovered. Theory 4, they left. Maybe they just wanted out of Gothenburg, out of Sweden. out of their small, suffocating lives. And Hymme, maybe he really did go to sea like his parents believed. Maybe those sightings in Australia and Singapore were real. Don't worry, nearly 60 years have passed. No bodies, no car, no answers. Kjell-Åke's sister Anna-Christine still waits. Gay's sister Ramona waited until she couldn't anymore. Jan Olof's mother Ingrid died in 2012 without answers. Kjell-Åke's parents, father in 2008, mother in 2012, died not knowing. His younger brother, only 8 years old when Kjell-Åke vanished, died in 2013. They're not declared dead. Jan Olof still listed as non-existent in Swedish legal records. Not dead, not alive, just gone, without known residence since 1972. But the families remember. The siblings who waited decades. The mothers who died without closure. Kjell-Åke's child, born just before he vanished, never knew him. Never heard his voice. Just stories. Just shadows. July 29th, 1965. 3 men drove away in a blue Volvo. A 4th vanished the same day. Were they together, or was it coincidence?